United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public participation. If you'd like to speak to the council, please fill out a form and hand it to Shannon. Please indicate on the form if you want to speak during this agenda item. Remember, council members are not allowed to answer questions during public participation. And please remember to state your name and address for the record. Do you have anybody?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Appointed representative liaison report, number one, I've heard Trinity Regional Water Development.
Don't have much to report. This project of the lake was gonna cost $680 million. Now it's gonna be well over $1 billion a year ago. Everything is more expensive. We're starting to put water in the lake. We have a pipeline completed, it's ready to take water. In the middle of it, there's a leveling station or lake, and the water goes into this pump. It's uphill from the lake, it's downhill halfway to Lake Louisville where the water goes. So the pipeline's all in and paid for, kind of. And we are well on our way to finishing the lake. We have only about 3 properties that we had to condemn out of all of the hundreds. So we were able to follow without a lot of fanfare. And all I can say, it's on schedule. We've only had to sue one contractor. But I think we're gonna settle that. So any questions? Yeah.
I saw an article this, I guess about 10 days ago, when Ralph Hall is completed and it's online, that due to the number of the population increasing with the percentages, that in 8 years, by 2033, the Texas will still be, we'll have a shortage of water.
And 2050, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, and the governor he's against having any more land put up for more water. Now, the governor has nothing to do with that, does he?
Yes. Second priority in the state of Texas is to get the water situation under control. That's the second thing the legislature is supposed to address. So possibly we're gonna come up with some sort of solution. The Texas Water Board has been great in helping us fund it and giving us money when we need it to keep the operation moving. And so there's a movement to elect people on the Texas Water Board. Hope it doesn't happen because they've got a good group there now that knows what they're doing. I'm not sure if we get some elected people, that'd be the case for quite a while. Any other questions? Did I answer your question?
Yes, you think.
Praise the Lord.
Thank you, Dale. Number two, Denton County Emergency Service, Chief Don's not here yet, I guess he's coming.
He was coming back from Austin on a meeting, so he
Okay.
told me he was gonna be here, but
No, that's okay, we can let him talk. Number three, Police Department, Chief Riggs.
Mayor, Council, good evening. In your packet, you'll see that last month, our calls were up just a little bit from last year. Not that significant. We did have an increase in accidents last month from 3 to 8. And on the call for service, call types, we did have an unusual amount of welfare concerns, but that was at one location with a mental health issue that we had to deal with. Other than that, the calls were fairly normal, and we had no Part 1 crimes reported last month, which is good. And if you go look at our traffic stops, you will notice that they were down from last year at this time. I'm going to guess that it's probably due to the cold weather we had. So I'm sure that will go back up. But at this time, I'll take any questions.
Most of the accidents on 407.
Yes, sir. Lieutenant actually, he worked last weekend and he had 2, one was a major.
There's one at Tractor Supply.
Yeah, and actually I just got a request for how many accidents have been in front of the tractor. The first accident I worked there was from in front of Tractor Supply. So yes, there were 2 of those this past weekend. We're on 407. That's where we get most of our accidents at 407. Yes, sir.
And also saw that our billing checks, close patrols are up over 200 now, so I guess that's a product of technically fully staffed, having a new officer on board. So,
Yes, sir. I think you'll start seeing a lot of our numbers. I think our arrests are gonna go up. Things like that. Traffic will go up. But yes, sir, they're out there checking and making sure that they're doing walkthroughs and things like that. So it's really nice to be fully staffed.
Everybody up and running now, everybody's full speed.
We have one officer out on work comp. Arthur is still out out on work comp. But he should be back.
The new guys.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yes. Bill's been out on his own probably a month or so. Yes, sir. All of them.
Doing a great job.
He is.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's out there. They're definitely out there working.
yeah, I see Officer McKay's on patrol, so he's rolling the streets. A good thing.
They definitely enjoy being.
Well, good.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Number 4, administration, Shannon.
Thank you, Mayor. We are in February, it's month 5 of our fiscal year. So overall, we typically want to have collected at least 42% of the budgeted revenue. And you can see on page 21 in your packet that all general fund revenue, we're about 29.55%. So we've actually collected about 70%. Property taxes actually, we're down to 2.56 left to collect, so we've gotten the majority of our property sales tax, which is wonderful. Sales tax, we're just shy of half in Fund 5, so that's really good. We're bringing in sales tax.
Seems like we're running ahead on sales tax right now, which hadn't been the case for a few months.
Yes, we did get a large amount in February. I got the numbers today for March, we're back down to normal.
Right.
But we're 2 months in arrears, so actually the February number for sales tax was December. So Christmas, the holiday shopping, a lot of people are shopping. So we're not there. And then if you notice right here under general revenue, after we opened up the other / transfer, so you guys can see this more transparent. We do have a negative number collected for general revenue. And that's because the way our software is, any money that we get collected outside of the norm of permitting or records and things like that, it'll go into general revenue, and then I have to do a journal entry out to put it in the appropriate place. So we've got a couple, like this month, for example, worker comp payments coming in, they had to be deposited in the general revenue, and then I had to move them over to salaries. So that's why there's a little negative in there. That's the only account that we can actually bring money in, then I just do a journal entry after it's been positive. But I wanted to point out that there was a negative number in revenue. Any questions before I move on?
Do we want to be at 42% remaining or?
We want to have collected, you're right, and we want to at least 42% of the revenue collected. Yes, and it's going to switch over for expenses. It's going to be, we want to have at least.
I'm running well, but.
Yeah, just make sure.
And if I said it was wrong, I'm sorry. It those,
Nope.
I keep getting them switched around sometimes, and I have to think about revenues and expenses.
Yeah.
Me too.
We have that conversation all the time in the office. Page 22 is your rolling 12-month average on sales tax. Like I just mentioned, we had that peak a couple months ago, and it's sales tax revenue on the average increase from January to February to $74,000. That's how the big increase that we had in February. And then, which is collected in December, and then the 12-month rolling average increased a little from $77,543 to $78,959, which is roughly about $1,400 from January to February. But like I said, I looked at the March numbers today, and we're gonna go down just a little bit, but I think we're still gonna be okay, and we're still gonna be reaching our projections. It's just, they're not consistent month to month, because you have to think about why people are out shopping and stuff like that. Page 23 of your packet, the all general fund expenditure, this is the overall summary of administration, police, and the support and transfers. And here is where we, talking about the opposite with month 5, we want to reflect 42% of expenditures expense, leaving 58% remaining in the budget, so that if everything was a monthly, but you know how sometimes you get a big bill and you have to pay it and cannot, but roughly we want to try to look at that.
Yeah.
So right now with 64.91% left, we are steady right now. And in transfers here, this is a larger number this month because of the sales tax. All that number represents the $41,663 is the sales tax that we collect, and then we have to transfer over into another account for the Lantana Town Center grant. So that's what it is. And just to give you what Lantana, of that total, $41,583 is sales tax. And mixed beverages is only $80 because there's only one business in Lantana sales tax currently. Any questions before I move on? And then next page 24, expenditures by department administration. Overall, looking at salaries and benefits, I want to point out here that I did the transfers from BCDC and CCPD respectively, so they were offset a little bit. BCDC contributes $10,000 a year to salaries, so that offset the administration salaries. And then CCPD, this is the first year, they've had it budgeted for a couple of years in the past, but since we've got that 7th officer, we were able to transfer over the $30,000 from CCPD to offset PD's salaries for the month. So we're very thankful for their contributions. And then overall, we are on target with 65% left of the budget remaining, so a little higher than what we need to have. Any questions before I move on? And page 25, the last one. I'm sorry.
Pretty good.
The expenditure for the police department. Again, salary and benefits, the first line, it was offset by 30,000, so it looks like we had a smaller amount, but rest assured, we're still paying all our employees the same, it's just the offset of the transfer coming in. And then they are at 67.5% overall, so they're also continuing. So right now, we're looking pretty good. I haven't had any concerns with anything with the budgets that we talk about this and everything. I think we're doing really well there.
And then we sold one of the police units, is that right?
Yes, sir. We sold that vehicle in 2018. We sold it to the city of Nocona. And we got $15,000 for that, which was, we had roughly about 18,000. That was the one that we did get the engine. We put some other things in. I was just concerned there's some other things coming up, and just, I sort of looked at, we can go without that vehicle within the 3 new vehicles that we should be coming out. Ain't saying when, but yes, sir, we did. They bought one of our other vehicles, so that was a good fair price for that, I believe. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we had multiple issues, that was one of the.
We ended up.
Something else went wrong 6 months later, then something else.
It needed to go.
So it was just nickel and dime this, and it was just one of those things that it was down and keep bringing it, so.
So that money went back into the general fund, or did it go?
It's gonna come in March, because that's when we sold it, so you'll see it next month, but we're gonna bring it into general revenue, and then I'm gonna transfer it out, and I'm gonna put it probably into overtime for PD side.
Because I know depending on whether it's paid for by, crime control or us, that determines which budget.
This is the first, last year was the first year we purchased out of CCPD, so that was purchased out of general fund.
Okay.
So we put it back. Cool.
We felt that would probably be the best place to put it, and since PD can do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Any questions? Other questions?
What year was that vehicle?
It was in 2018. And we were cheap for 2 years. We got about 1.5 years out of it, so. We just thought it might be the best way to use our money and bring it back in, because we're good with vehicles right now. We have the 3 24s, and then we have the black ones at 2022, so we're in good shape. It has like 38,000 miles on the oldest one.
When something like that's put on the market, what's the, I'm just, what would be the avenue that one takes in order to get rid of something like that?
Well, you can go to Renee Bates, and when you look at, when I did it the last time and this time, you look at what some of those would go for depending on the mileage, and that was fairly high miles, but what we can do and what we've done with other police agencies, if you go ahead and you sell it to another city, you really don't really have to put it up if you have a buyer, but you can go on Renee Bates and somebody can purchase off Renee Bates, site.
You can just reach out to other towns and go, hey, we have a police vehicle available, anybody.
And yes, sir, because that's what's happened in other, I mean, it happens, a buddy of mine that's a chief in Tioga, he gets a lot of cars from UNT. So it's one of those things that, other smaller agencies, as you think about it, for $15,000, you start looking at equipment and, just a new Tahoe is $80,000. So when you can get something that's outfitted for that price to help, it's helping out another agency, it really is. That's not,
Did
doesn't.
you contact the company or did they contact you? Or?
They contacted, actually, Officer Wood, knows the chief up there, and he reached out to us. I didn't reach out to him, and would say, hey, the chief's want to buy that car, and I'm like, well, wait, he wanted to buy it sooner, and I said, let's wait, because I want to get some more miles out of it, I want to get more time out of it, because that's what we had told council that we were gonna do, but this last time he asked, and I talked with the mayor about it, and said, listen, we get a fair price. He wanted a little lower, we had to do some haggling, but he did come up to our price, so it worked out for
Was
us.
it Fenolios there involved in this? Do you know?
What's it?
Fenolios, Fenolios, the brothers, like 7 of them up in the corner, and they just got one everything. I was just kind of curious. Thanks, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Shannon. Denton County Emergency District, Chief Vaughn. Like just in time.
Thank you for having me. Sorry I was late. Today was firefighter day in the state capitol. I've been in Austin today, so meet with legislators about, things related to firefighters and emergency service districts too. It's interesting. We actually have a safety, it's an association for emergency services, actually over 350 ESPs across the state. So it was a good day. I was a little tired, but I'm sorry for being late. For the month, we were obviously busy. We had over 300 calls across the district. Want to give a little update on just some of the wildfire stuff. We had really bad winds come in with the dust coming in. And we did have some fires, but thankfully none of those fires happened during that peak gust. I really think because of all the dust and you couldn't see, it was so almost foggy. It kind of kept a lot of people inside, so we didn't really have, but we did have a couple of fires, but thankfully before all that really happened. So other than that, it was really pretty calm. I'm a little bit worried about it because of the winds and things, and the dryness it's been having, so thankfully it wasn't a big deal. But for February was a historic month for us. We were very busy, a lot of good things going on. As you recall, we put our third frontline ambulance in service on February 15th, hired the firefighters for that on February 1st. Then we had our groundbreaking ceremony for our fourth station in North Lake. So we've had a lot of historic things going on. And then the following day, we did a swearing in ceremony for all the new firefighters. And we also hired an assistant fire marshal to help mine as we grow more. We're taking on more prevention activities. So he's got some help now as well. So busy month, good month for us, but it doesn't stop, right? We'll continue to go on and do more things. We have a meeting this week, this Thursday, and we'll be doing our, the auditor, third-party auditor, will be going over our audit. I've got a draft and going over it. It looks really awesome to me. I'm not an auditor, but I can't seem to find any material weaknesses, which is the thing you always look for. And so I'm very impressed, very proud of that because everything we've been through the last 2 years and with all the audits we've been through, and you can see in this report coming back, it just says a lot about our staff, our board. We have a very strong treasurer.
And just the thing that we're doing, putting in place has been it's starting to show fruit. So it's kind of the greatest thing about this last month is kind of over the last 2 years, everything we've been through is kind of a point where it's probably kind of celebration of moving forward. So really excited about that. Also, we've got on the 29th of March, we've got our boards 1 and 2 will have their workshop, kind of a kickoff for our budget season. So if you recall, I presented our 3-year strategic plan, and so we'll be diving into that. I have a little dashboard that kind of says where we are at each one of those goals and objectives, and so we'll be kind of prioritizing those and looking at what's important as we start building our FY26 budget. So that's some of the things we'll do. We'll go over the strategic plan as well, and we'll talk about everything. We are working, the board will be approving you haven't seen it yet, but you will be soon. We did do a 2024 annual report, a lot of pictures and everything. There is some charts and graphs outside of what you normally see in the report, but you'll see that soon as well. So we're doing a lot of things, and that's going to bleed over into our next community stakeholders meeting. So you recall, twice a year, we feel like it's important to not just bring in our councils, but also who come to our stakeholders. We have a lot of our police chiefs, a lot of our town managers and things like that come to our community stakeholder meeting, including school districts. And it allows us to get some feedback from them, talk kind of a round table at the end. We'll also be giving updates, including the annual report, going over our strategic plan, give updates on that, updates on the new station. It's just a really good time, and plus they get a free lunch at it, so they know I'm convinced it's like gonna get a free lunch at it. So other than that, biggest thing we got coming up as far as community outreach is on May 17th, the week before Memorial Day, we'll have our annual Carry the Load event. That's kind of our signature event we've been doing since I've been here. It's a great way to kind of give back to the community. It's like an open house, we cook hamburgers and hot dogs just free to the public to come out. But it's also a way to commemorate the Memorial Day and honor our veterans. And so it's something I wanted to do when I got here. It's something that it's kind of grown and grown. So I look forward to seeing how that turns out. So more to come on that. We just announced a date on that. If you recall, last year we were part of the national Carry the Load. So we're going to continue that. So it continues to grow, and so I'm looking forward to that. And I'll pass on more about that as we get more information. But we did get the date. So it's a week, it's a Saturday, May 17th, and it's a week before Memorial Day. Other than that, I can talk more, but I'll stop there and see if you have any questions.
Look really good on Fox 4 the other
Oh,
day.
that Megan, she puts me up everything. She said, someone was talking, I said, sure they can talk something. No, I did the interview. I've done a few of those. I've learned that I used to worry about those. I've learned that just start talking and they'll tell you shut up, and they'll take about 15 seconds of something you said.
Yes.
So they're just gonna pick something out that you said and go with it. So got used to it. So, but thank you. I will take, I'm not gonna quit my day job, that's for sure.
Chief, are y'all fully staffed now?
We are fully staffed, so we are up, we are actually, because of the new station that's gonna be getting here later this summer, probably around August. We are starting the process. We put out the application, put out on social media everywhere, all the state sites for hiring. So we're gonna be hiring 12 for that station. So we're not only fully staffed, but now we're starting the hiring process for the next 12. So, and that'll be for the new station later this year. So we're in a good place. We'll slow down next year. If you recall, the first year was what I call the institutional crisis, where we had to redefine, which resulted in an election about TSP2. This last year was really identifying our operational gaps. What are we missing? The things that we need to get caught up on. And so now this year is kind of more on just kind of implementing and executing those things. And so as we do that, we've already kind of managed to kind of get caught up to where we should be. Now it'll be just managing the growth as we go. So it'll slow down, won't be as busy and hectic as we've been over the last 2 years. Still got a lot of work to do, don't get me wrong, but policies and updating procedures, and we're still working on a lot of those things, but it's a good place to be.
You got the good work.
Thank you.
For sure. Yeah, thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Consent agenda. This agenda consists of non-controversial housekeeping items required by law. Items may be approved with a single motion. Items may be removed from the consent agenda by any council member by making such a request prior to the motion. We vote on the consent agenda. Number 1, consider approval of February 18th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Number 2, consider approval of an ordinance canceling May 3rd, 2025 general election and accepting certification of unopposed candidates and providing an effective date. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve consent agenda item.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Public hearing action items, the town council will hear one presentation for both agenda items 1 and number 2. Number 1, conduct a public hearing to hear public comment, discuss and consider an ordinance amending the town of Bartonville comprehensive plan, section 4, thoroughfare plan to update public road design standards. Town of Bartonville file number CPA 2025-001. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval by a vote of 5-0 at its March 5th, 2025 meeting. Number 2, conduct a public hearing to hear public comment, discussion, discuss and consider ordinance amending the town of Bartonville Code of Ordinances Exhibit 10A, development ordinance Appendix A, engineering design standards to update public road design standards and drainage standards. Town of Bartonville File Code COA 2025-001. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval by 5-0 at its March 5th, 2025 meeting. Staff presentation.
Mayor, council, at the March 5th Planning and Zoning meeting, we informed the board that the town did desire to adopt revisions to the current road width and drainage standards. The requirement that requires an amendment to the comprehensive plan, specifically, like the mayor said, section 4 thoroughfare plan, and an update on the engineering design standards exhibit A. The board they recommended approving these changes. The current town ordinance minimum is 20 feet. While significant for general traffic, this width poses challenges for fire apparatus access and emergency responses, particularly in critical situations when they have to maneuver. This came about, and I think everyone's been over Hudson Hills and Eagle Bridge. Those are 20 feet. Very difficult. I mean, we've had signs knocked down. We're having to do some things over there just to prevent that, but that's what brought this about. I want to thank the mayor. We went out and measured all the streets, and the streets with,
Why would you try to get me to lay down?
Speed bump.
3 mayors.
Yeah.
3 mayors, one.
so, so Hudson Hills and Eagle Ridge, as you know, are 20 feet. 22 feet are McMakin, Dove Creek, Frenchtown, Gibbons, and portions of East Jeter. 24 feet, Triple Crown, Deer Hollow, Hat Creek, Lakeview, Saddlebrook side streets, and Badminton. 25 feet, East Jeter Phase 1, and 30 feet, Kentucky Derby, Noble Champion, and Trifecta. Those are the widths currently that we have. And the reason for this, not only some of the things we observed in the subdivision, but the National Fire Protection Association recommends a minimum of 24 feet for fire apparatus access roads. And I always want to keep the fire department happy, as snappy as the chief looks tonight. We revised the road standards to mandate this 24 feet for all new roads and major renovations. This change will enhance safety, public safety, facilitate emergency responses, and ensure uniformity in our town. And at this time, I will turn it over to our our town planner, Brian Wells, and he has a presentation and can answer any other questions that you may have regarding.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm going to give a brief presentation on basically the items that Chief just covered related to an amendment to the comprehensive plan and amendments to Appendix A of the development ordinance to facilitate update to our road standards. Like it says here. So the goal is, again, to increase all the road pavement widths to a minimum of 24 feet. Not only the National Fire Protection Agency, but also the International Fire Code does call for fire lanes, which all public roads are generally treated as fire lanes, to be a minimum of 24 feet wide. And so in addition to facilitating efficient emergency response to all of our neighborhoods and businesses, this will also help to maintain the rural character, which we know this community finds very important. And the wider roads allow for larger vehicles and a more open landscape for the road system. So the first step is to amend the comprehensive plan. Comprehensive plan provides high-level guidance on all of the policies and direction that the city is going to go. And the development and zoning code is kind of the implementing tool of those policies. So comprehensive plan sets the stage. Section 4 of the comprehensive plan is the thoroughfare plan. So that lays out the classification of the different roadways throughout the city. It also establishes the basic roadway cross-section standards based on those different classifications. And so we have a rural collector, a minor collector. Those are roads that kind of feed a larger area. And then you have your local road, which is kind of the last road that you're going to be on before you get to your house or to a business. So a couple of those needed updates because, as Chief said, they currently had 20 or 22 feet as their minimum standards. So what this comprehensive plan amendment does, it updates numerically as well as graphically those minimum standards in the document so that that is the basis for which we can make the updates to the development ordinance, which is the technical document. So the engineering design standards, which is Appendix A to the Bartonville Development Ordinance, again, is a technical document which establishes those design requirements for roadways and drainage. This is the kind of enforcing document. So if y'all work with a developer, that's what they're going to look at to know what they have to follow in order to build new roads. In addition to the wider roadway widths, the travelway widths, these updated standards also provide for increase of pavement width and section depths and updated drainage standards, including increases in the concrete strength standards. So the actual rebar that provides the structural support for the concrete roads, that's updated. Updated standards for the road base, so the layer underneath the actual pavement. And then updated drainage standards to reference the city of Louisville's drainage standards. Since I think the 80s, Bartonville has used Louisville's road and drainage standards as the proxy essentially to follow, because they did all the work, they did all the research to know what actually works for today's transportation needs, and it's a great system for Bartonville to just kind of borrow from them rather than go through all the work to build standards, which are probably going to end up being the same thing anyway. So the impact of these proposed amendments are going to be for all future developments henceforth, should this be adopted tonight. All future developments will be subject to these revised roadway and drainage standards. They'll have to build roads that are minimum 24 feet wide and all the drainage technical standards for that. Existing and underway projects will be able to use the existing standards. Essentially, once a project is approved and moving forward, it's vested, meaning you can't change the rules on them midway because they budgeted, they hired their contractors based on a set of assumptions. And so you can't change that on them. If the town were ever to go back and do a major reconstruction of an existing street, the rebuild would have to follow the new standards as well. So if you were trying to rebuild a 24-foot road, you'd have to rebuild it at, 22 feet, you'd have to rebuild it at 24 feet to match your own standards. So we did send out, as this is an amendment to the comprehensive plan and the development ordinance, we did send out public notice to the local newspaper on February 15th. At earlier this month at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, ESD Chief Monwin came and expressed his support. He's here tonight, saying that this was very important for the ESD to have adequate access to all of the neighborhoods within the city. And again, the Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval at their meeting on the 5th. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
You answered the one, which is essentially if we approve it, then our existing roads are technically legal non-conforming until we need to do something.
It's a shame we couldn't address this 6, 7, 8 months ago. Because we got some real problems out there, especially with we're okay right now, but those homes get built. Landscapers right now, have no place to put a trailer. And we're unloading it over, and he got stuck. The landscaper was on the other side of the road, we got stuck, and no cars could tractor get by there. It took about 30 minutes for the boat to get out. And that's just strictly because there's no room for that car to get by. And I can't imagine what that's gonna be like when it gets built out. Because nobody was gonna be mowing their own lawns, they're gonna have landscapers out there. And I don't know whether, but to do it. But anyway, that's That's an insight there we could afford to. This should probably solve some of the problems going forward, but that won't rectify what we gotta do with the meantime.
Well, we're fixing it now, so that's a good thing. Any other questions for Ryan? No? Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. Agenda item 1, public hearing, time being 7:05, open the public hearing to hear public comment regarding ordinance amending the town of Bartonville comprehensive plan, section 4, thoroughfare plan. To update public and road design standards. Does anyone wish to speak in favor? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition? Time being 7:05, it's all public hearing. Any further discussion from council?
As a support of our department, our police department.
Yeah. You have a motion?
When we move on both of these, we have to move each.
Separate. Yeah, each of two separate.
Make sure. I move we approve the ordinance amending the town of Bartonville comprehensive plan, section 4, thoroughfare plan, to update public road design standards.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Ken. Agenda item 2, public hearing, time being 7:06. I open the public hearing to hear public comment regarding ordinance amending the town of Bartonville Code of Ordinances Exhibit 10A, Development Ordinance Appendix A, Engineering Design Standards to update public road design standards and drainage standards. Does anyone wish to speak in favor? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition? Time being 7:06, I close the public hearing. Any more discussion? Anything, anybody want to add? You have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we move to approve an ordinance amending the town of Bartonville code of ordinances, exhibit 10A, development ordinance, appendix A, engineering design standards to update public road design standards and drainage standards.
Second. Did you second? All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, council. Number 3, discuss and consider awarding a contract with East G Road Phase 2 reconstruction project to G-Rod Construction in the amount of $713,037.10. Including a 10% contingency amount for any additional unforeseen items that may arise during the construction. Staff presentation, Chris. Engineer.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. This is just the next phase of East Jeter, so approximately, I think it's around 1,650 linear feet, just going further west on Jeter. We were thinking it would be, around $1 million, I guess, with the budget, so this is well under that. I guess the contingency ask is really twofold, address stuff that pops up maybe, but also we know there's some maybe issues along with Knight's Landing, and if we can't get them to do stuff, at least somebody will be out there that can fix what's already been done. So just being well under budget, and actually the pricing was really good. I think moving forward, maybe we try to bid in February and January, just to fastball. That's just, people are a little bit hungrier for work, obviously, than when we bid the last one, which just had one bidder and significantly higher pricing. So, I mean, moving forward, just back of our mind, it's like, as the budget year hits, we'll just kind of work to move and do bidding. That seems to be better timing. I mean, we just get much better results. Also, like last 2-3 years have been like crazy busy, and it's kind of normalizing to where, but I mean, we've got on this one alone, yeah, 8-9 bidders. So, some not so reasonable, but then at the window, I mean, there were some, the first page were very reasonable. So, and we've worked with G-Rod before. They've done stuff all over. I feel like are more than capable of handling a project this size. They've performed ones 5 to 10 times this size for us in other cities. So,
And they're gonna do the GeoGrid.
yeah, yes, ma'am. So it's just, at this point, I don't even know that we did it as an alternative. We just did GeoGrid, just moving forward. It seems to be the only real challenging part is a little bit during installation, but asphalt, they can lay so fast that, yeah, it'll be done in 2 phases again, and maybe some disruption at the culvert, but I think it'll go pretty fast.
And we're not gonna do it until they finish the batch plant and all the.
Yeah.
The road work over on, Knights Landing, which hopefully they're gonna start that pretty soon, but anyway.
Yes, ma'am. So I guess timing wise, it's probably not starting for another month or 6 weeks, but. We've got bonds and stuff to work through with them anyway, so I guess it'll be starting probably late April, May, just depending on. When they get Nice Landing done.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So in regards to items 1 and 2 that we approved tonight, has this been priced out at 24 feet?
Well, technically it was done, no, it is 24 feet. When we started, if you remember, when we started this, it was, well, no, but Jeter's been a little bit bigger. It's kind of your,
It's 25.
it's 25.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your collector and it actually. It's set up to go a little bit wider. It has a nice shoulder too. If you, some of those other ones drop off pretty good, so,
Yeah.
It's set up to go wider, but not a lot wider.
Yeah, but they did get all the stakes, the perimeter stakes that put in today. It was, they did get that done.
Yeah. Yeah, I see.
Any other questions?
I think the contingency was.
Think so? Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Mayor.
You have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve a construction contract with G Rod for the East Cheaters Road Phase 2 reconstruction project. Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Most two to the Open Meetings Act, after 551, the town council will meet in executive session in accordance with the Texas Government Code. Number 1, section 551.074, personal matters to deliberate and consider appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of the public officer, employee, with town administrator. Number 2, section 551.071, consultation with town attorney to seek legal advice of its attorney regarding possible land use regulations being considered by the 89th Texas legislation and any and all legal issues related thereto. Hospital 1779, Hospital 878, Hospital 2480, Senate Bill 673, and Senate Bill 15. Number 3, section 551.071, consultation with the town attorney to seek legal advice regarding the petition for consent to assignment of development of agreement from Hines Acquisitions LLC and any and all legal issues related thereto. This is on First Ranch, and Keith will be recusing himself on that item, item number 3. Time being 7:12, we're now convening in the closed session.
I go down, or do I need to put it on the record?
You agree with that?
As she mentioned it. We went into closed session.
Yeah. Okay with that.
Okay. Fine.
Thank you for it.
Okay, then I'll leave.
When get to you. You're running.
All right, don't leave me back here all night.
Time being 8:35, we reconvene in open session. Item number 1, no action. Item number 2, no action. Number 1, discuss and consider approval of a resolution consenting to the assignment of the development agreement related to the development of the 376.09 acres within the town's extraterritorial jurisdiction from Hines Acquisitions LLC to Spur First Ranch Development LP and Spur First Ranch and Land LP, collectively Spur. Discussion. Any discussion? You have a motion?
We do. Mayor, I move to approve a resolution consenting to the assignment of the development agreement related to the development of 376.09 acres in the town's extraterritorial jurisdiction from Hines Acquisitions LLC to Spur First Ranch Development LP and Spur First Ranch and Land LP, collectively Spur, subject to Spur agreeing to comply with and be bound to the terms of the agreement.
Thank you. Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Future agenda items, are there any items council would like to request? Future agenda, no. Time being 8:36,